Good morning and welcome back to Margin. This morning I'm going to talk about what is essential in your community. So let's jump right into it. So I want you to think about something today. Think about your core circle of people, the people who are in your corner. Just think about it for a minute. This is not only your family and friends, but also those who are connected to you outside of those two specific groups. Now, oftentimes we are more connected than we realize, but maybe not in the best manner. Now, I was talking to one of the guys that I mentor the other day about how we typically have a lot of people who are in our lives for a season, like college. Then we may have a fair amount of people around us for a specific situation or occasion, like a life event, maybe getting married or something like that. But most only have a few friends who are actually considered lifelong friends. Now, those who are people who stick by your side through thick and thin. Does that sound familiar for you? Because that's oftentimes what I hear from people is that they go through life and they have a few people that they can truly depend upon outside of their family. And so it's important to start off this aspect of looking at people from a standpoint of who is in your corner, who actually has your back, and who is watching out for you. Now, as a culture, we are becoming less and less neighborly, less relational, less friendly, and more coarse, difficult, and assuming of others. Now, the hard part is that in society, becoming more and more like that means that we become more and more a product of our society. Now, that is not a cop-out for you and I to mirror our culture, but is just a consideration of the world that we operate in and how easy it can be to view life through the lens of how the world operates. Now, as our society embraces and pushes the cancellation or cancel of those who don't align with our specific mindset, our approach, or our views, it is easier and easier to just surround yourself and ourselves with only those who think like us, who maybe think critically like us or think passively like us or act just like us. Now, it becomes easier and easier to then assume that everyone either does or should think like you because you're surrounding yourself only by those same people that think that way. But I believe that this free speech and free thought is what has allowed for the diversity there is in America today. So trying to understand the differences by hearing others' opinions and actually considering other people's perspectives that are different than our own is critical in being able to rebuild the communities we live in that I believe are actually crumbling around us. Now, you may have heard the saying, show me your network and I will show you your net worth. Now, who you surround yourself with defines you is very, very important. And we've obviously gone through this before and talked over this topic. Now, this doesn't mean that we separate, we isolate, and divide, but instead we predetermine who has that ability to speak into our lives based on aligning values, aligning core values in our lives. And so it's important to figure out who that is that needs to be able to speak into your life, but then beyond that, be quick to listen and slow to speak. Now, this society is quick to speak, quick to pounce, quick to assume, and quick to get angry over other people and their individuality. Now, this causes us to be less and less engaged in the lives of others, therefore more and more curt and isolated, not understanding people's perspectives or understanding where they're coming from. Now, if you've ever heard of blue zones, they are areas that have abnormally healthy communities. There's one actually in California nearby. And I believe that part of this is due to the community aspect of each of these areas. Now, we all need people, and we need to figure out ways to serve the essential people in our lives. Now, think about how much of your life you actually spend alone. Now, if you're an introvert, you may fare better by spending longer stints of time alone. But if you're an extrovert, the distance from people or the isolation can actually be a lot more detrimental because of that need to connect with people. Now, just think about the last couple years where the importance of products like Zoom, Google Meet, Slack, and other communication and collaboration tools have exploded. Now, these tools have allowed us to virtually be together, but have they actually helped to build a sense of belonging, of community, and your ability to connect with other people in a meaningful way? And maybe they have to some extent, but I think it's very important to not just be on Zoom, not just be active, in Slack and connecting from that standpoint, but also just directly having a conversation with someone when it's healthy to do so. Now, these intentional conversations that you have in person with people are especially important, but I think sometimes people don't know what type of relationships they should have. Now, I take the approach that besides your family, you need to have 3 tiers of folks or people in your life. Those that are pouring into you, developing you, mentoring you, and those who are walking shoulder to shoulder through life with you, like your friends, and those who you are actually pouring into, you're developing, you're mentoring, and you are shoring up so that they can make wise decisions going forward. So besides just having people in your circle, in your corner, in your tribe, I think it's important to actually cultivate community with other people, whether it's through a church, a club, a mastermind group, or some other way to connect with people and learn from people and interact with people in a way that is not just virtual. Now, in order to have the ability to both virtually and physically meet with people and meet people, you need to actually be connected. You need to actually not just focus on your family or friends that are right around you, but connecting and reaching out beyond those 2 groups of people. Now, you're probably asking, what does being connected to others have to do with my finances? And I would say, I think the more generous you are with your time, talent, and resources, ultimately, the more opportunity you will have, and the less you will then focus on yourself and your own specific needs, making you more and more selfish, more curt, more difficult to deal with. So if community is a necessity and essential, how can you work to better harbor that community, that type of community that matters to you? So my call to action today is to think about ways to develop the 3 tiers. Those that are pouring into you, those you are walking shoulder to shoulder through life with, and those that you are pouring into. Now, thinking through how you can then serve those groups of people that you want to pour into you, that you want to walk shoulder to shoulder through life with you, maybe family and friends, and those that you actually have a heart to serve and pour into. It is really important. If this information is helpful to you, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're reminded to come back on a daily basis and improve in managing your personal finances. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.